welcome or welcome back. This is Debbie, aka Veil the Stitcher, and I'm back with a cross-stitching update for you. It's been about 8 or 9 days since my last video, and I have a couple things to share. The first thing I'd like to share is Halloween at Hawkern Hollow. Last time I was working on block 2, which is this guy right here. And my goal was to finish the block. And let's see what I can do. And I did! I finished the block and I'm super happy with it. I had finished the center 2 blocks previously, and now I am 1/4 of the way through Halloween at Hawkern Hollow. So I'm super pleased with this progress. This is stitched on 40 count vintage country mocha, and I'm stitching it 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. And I originally stitched the middle double block first because I wanted to have the freedom to stitch whichever block I felt like, since each block is kind of a commitment. And yeah, super pleased with this. It is now going to go away. Today's October 22nd, so we are running out of October days. And so I'd like to get in some Halloween stitching on some other projects. So super happy with this. I think next year I would like to at least get 3 blocks done. So I'm gonna be thinking about how that might play out as it gets closer to 2023. The next piece I worked on was Boo to You. And I am stitching these in a grid all on 1 piece of fabric, and I was starting with this guy in the corner here, and he's still in the Q-snap. This is an 8x8 Q-snap, and he fits so well in here. So since this is a start, you know, there was blank canvas before that. This is stitched on 32 count, it's a 32 count linen in natural, I believe, from Zweigart. And I finished that first block, and I have a needle still sticking in here with the very last stitch of that star. I'm not sure why I stopped there. And then I had a little bit left of 3371, so I moved over into the next block that I'm planning to work and finished out that thread. So super pleased with my progress. I love when I can get like a solid stopping point on something. So very pleased with this. And then the next thing I worked on, I was actually afraid that I wasn't going to get to my Mirabilia, but since it's been 8 or 9 days since my last video, I did manage to get to her. So I am stitching Gypsy Queen, and I've been stitching this. I started it in 2021, I think, so I started it last year. And whenever I sit down to stitch on it, I'm always surprised at how much progress I get. But whenever I'm trying to gear up to stitch on it, I always feel like, it's such a huge project, there's so much to do. But this is where we are. And last week I had pointed out that I was planning to start stitching her skin. And so, let's see here. I started with her hand and worked my way up to her shoulder. And I am so pleased with the progress on this. I decided, up until this point, I hadn't stitched any of the Krynic yet. I was planning to do all of the regular DMC cross stitches first, but because the bracelets on her arms were so, they were small enough areas that I felt like I could stitch them and finish them and it wouldn't be like a headache. So I decided to not only do the skin, but do her bracelets as I went. You will notice that there are some empty spaces, and that is where basically a string of beads wraps around her arm. So the skin I'm stitching 2/2 as charted, and as I continue to work on this, I will just be carrying her skin across her chest, and then she has an arm over here, and then I'll stitch her face last. And while I do that, I'm planning to finish the Karen water lilies, and then I'll do the Krynic, and then I'll do the beading last. And I am stitching her in a Q-snap, but when I get to the beading part, I'm going to be stitching in hand. And she is just so pretty. I love her so much. I really, really want to finish her this year. And then start another one. So, very pleased with that progress. I actually got more done than I had planned, so that was really great. And it did the trick, because one of the reasons why I had added her into my plans just for one day was to see if I could kickstart a desire to continue working on her, and it did the trick. And then I have one more piece of progress to show you. And there's a story to this one. And I apologize if you can hear my cat meowing at the door, but I let her in before this video started, and she started attacking my cross stitch stuff, so she got kicked out. But anyway, so this final piece I'm going to talk about is Yellow Polka Dot Bikini by Plum Street Samplers. And I had stitched this in 2020 for my mom, because she has had dachshunds in her life up until very recently, and it was going to be a gift for her for Christmas 2020. And I finished the stitch, but I never fully finished it. And then 2021 came, and I still didn't finish it. And so this year, when I was planning to spend some time with her over the summer, I decided I needed to get it done. So I did fully finish it, and I believe I have a photo, and if I do, I'm going to put it over here so that you can see the finish I had, and I gifted it to her. And then a couple of weeks later, Hurricane Ian blew through and ruined it. So that's one of the few pieces, or one of the few things in her house that she was like, I really, really wish that hadn't happened, and she asked me if I could remake it, and of course, I was actually already planning to remake it for her. So I decided that I needed to get a good start on it as soon as possible so that I could plan to finish it ahead of December and give it to her for her birthday. So this was a restart just last night after I finished Gypsy Queen's arm, and I started in the middle with the fire hydrant. And in fact, I still have a needle with thread. So there's the fire hydrant, and sadly, the fabric I'm working on, you cannot see the white. So any white that is not surrounded by other stitches, I'm going to do an outline around it of a color yet to be determined that will, highlight the white but not be too stark. Like, I don't want to outline it in black. I'm going to determine a different color that might blend in a little better. So there's the fire hydrant so far. I did finish the red in it, and I am currently finishing up the white. And then the last bit in there is black. And then there's some space for a vine that crosses in front of it. So I'm stitching this on 25 count, like a raw natural color, and the previous finish was done on 40 count vintage country mocha, but I don't have any more of that available. And I did have this piece of, it's just like an eighth of a yard of this natural in 25 count, and I decided that it's such a strange shape that makes it really hard to finish. And the finish I showed, I basically took it was a sign that I got from a craft shop that had something written on it. And I painted the outer part of the frame, which was originally like a natural wood color, to white. And then I mounted the finished cross stitch on some sticky board, and then put it like over top of the signage part. But as I was calculating the various finish sizes based on what kind of fabric you're using, like the stitch count is 239 wide by 62 high. So it's such a strange shape, and I don't want to get this professionally framed because that is just outside of my budget. So I saw this piece of 25 count, and I thought that I did the calculations, and it would technically fit inside of a standard 8x10 frame. And so what I want to do is get a standard 8x10 frame and kind of figure out some embellishments that I can put, either like a strip of fabric along the bottom, or fabric along the bottom and the top, something to kind of fill in the space while still being able to focus on the finished cross stitch. So that's kind of what's percolating in my mind, but I won't be able to fully flesh that out visually until this gets stitched. So this was last night and some of this morning. And I do typically like to center start whenever I'm doing something that's not full coverage, or because I didn't do that on the boot to you. Boot to you is kind of different because it's got a frame, like it's a corner with stitches all along the corner. This one doesn't have that. It's got lettering in the corners and then little motifs. And so with something that is this busy with separate motifs, I do like to center start. So those are the 4 things that I worked on this week. And my plans are, I am going to continue on Gypsy Queen. I've slotted her in for 1 more day, and if I end up getting more than that, well, that's awesome. I'm going to continue on her skin. I'm going to continue on Yellow Polka Dot Queenie today and tomorrow, which is Saturday and Sunday. And then I'm probably going to leave that until November because I would like to focus on Halloween and autumn stitching this month. So that's 2, and then the third one is I'm going to hopefully get another. My goal is to get another block done on this one, and the block that I'm working on is this little ghost. Almost dropped it, but caught it. Is this ghost that says boo there. So hopefully, this, honestly, working 2/2 on 32 count is just, it's comfort stitching to me in comparison to 1/2 on 1/2 on 40 count or 1/1 on 25 count. This has just been so fun, and it's all block stitching, which means each of these blocks I counted is 42 by 32, which makes it out to be about 1,800 stitches, and it's very doable to get another block done, and hopefully maybe start on the third one across the top. So that will be whip number 3 that I will work on. And then I have a spot open that I haven't decided what I want to work on for my 4th project, but I have 3 possibilities. So I'm going to show you all 3, and I am asking that if you watched this within the first 5 days of this video going up, so it's October 22nd right now, and it should go up today, if you wouldn't mind putting a comment of which of these 3 whips that you would love to see some work done on, then I will be stitching this at the end of this particular rotation before I film next, and I would love your input. So I went through one of my whip drawers, and one of these I started last year, one of these I started in 2020, I think, and the other one was either 2019 or 2020. And besides the one I started last year, none of these have been worked on since I started them, basically. So the first one is, it's another Prairie Schooler, and it's called When Witches Go Riding. And I'm doing the large piece here. And it is being stitched on 40 count Ren by Picture This Plus. And I apologize, but it's been folded up for like 2 years. But I'll hold it back here first. I did a center start, and and then worked my way to the side, and then now I'm working my way down to that house in the bottom corner there. And I changed some of the colors. I believe the yellow leaves were a gold color, and the gold color is really like a brown color to me when I look at it, and so I really wanted these to be like a burnt, like burgundy, a burnt orange, and then a really nice mustard yellow is how I wanted the leaves to look. So that is fun. So this is When Witches Go Riding. If you are interested in seeing this one stitched, please put a comment. You can put in just a number 1, or you can put in When Witches Go Riding. The second option is by Jardin Privé. This is called Quaker de Halloween. And I loved the mix of black and white on this. I feel like it would be also, it's really easy to maybe do the pumpkins in a different color, or, you know, some leaves in a like a greenish color. I think this is a really good one to personalize if someone feels up to that. I started this last year and I did not get very far, but I'm stitching it on, let me see if I have the sticker for this. I love this color, but, this is Havana by Color and Cotton in a 20 count Aida that I got from Top Knot Stitcher. And correctly, I won a gift certificate to Top Knot Stitcher Shop by, I think it was Stitches by Shelby, actually. Don't quote me on that. She's a Flosstuber that updates pretty regularly. She actually just did an update not too long ago with a Just Nan little mouse that's basically shaped like a strawberry, but it has these extras that make it into a mouse, and it is adorable. You should definitely go check it out. So I started in the top left corner here, and this is basically 1 or 2 days stitching. I did not stay on this for very long, and I'm pretty sure I got distracted by something else. This fabric is definitely washing out. It's like a burnt blush mauve almost, a little brown, but you're not really getting that. So this I just found my other scissors. Those scissors have been lost for over a year. So I am planning on doing the black and then the white on here. I don't think I decided to do any other colors, but you know, it's very early in this stitching. I may decide to do that as I go. So if you'd like to see this stitched before the next video, you can put in the number 2, or you could just say the Quaker. And then the third one that I'm interested in stitching is Autumn Dream by Cottage Garden Samplings. This is number 11 of the Songbirds Garden series. And of course, I fell in love with this because of the pumpkin and the word dream on there. This has been a popular series. I've loved seeing everyone's stitching on all of them. I do have quite a few of them that I'm interested in starting at some point. But so this, I did not stitch on this at all last year, and I believe I started it in 2020. So I am stitching this on, I believe this is Valor by Picture This Plus, because it has that green hue to it. And I started in the middle, which had the word in it. And then I'm now working my way up to the top so I can work around. And I'm doing the DMC colors. And this is, I think I said 40 count, but I'm stitching this 1 strand of floss over 2 strands of fabric on 40 count Valor. And that's showing up really true. It's like, it's got a greenish, a really nice green hue to it. So that is the third one. And it's also been folded up just like this for 2 years, so those creases are happily in there. So that's the third one. So if you're interested in seeing that one stitched, you can put a number 3 in there or put in Dream. And those are all of my plans until the next video. So the last thing I wanted to do, and I'm going to try and get this done before the 30-minute mark because I forgot to check to see if I could change my settings. So the last thing I wanted to show you was some of my prior Halloween and spooky finishes. And the first one is the one I was pointing to last time, but couldn't reach. And this is called Hocus Pocus by the Prairie Schooler. And I did a color conversion on this. This was originally, I believe, a dark brown base instead of, for the dark color, it was 3371, and I changed it to 939, I believe, the darkest navy color. And I used purple, like I think it's 3837 instead of the orange. And then the whitish color, the yellowish white color is ecru. And I believe that's it. I stitched this on 28 count Stormy Night, I think, by Zweigart. And since the current boot U, the block stitching I'm doing, does not have, it's not charted to be all in one, I'm going to use this same chain border on the one I'm working on to kind of make them a little more uniform. And this one, as you can see, is not framed, but it's on sticky board. I need a 9x12 frame for this, which is not as easy to get as an 8x10. And so this is just propped up behind you here. This next one I stitched last year and finished last year. It's October 31st by Blackbird Designs, and this is out of the Winds of Autumn book. I loved this. This was my first Blackbird Designs pattern, and this was also the first time I had ever done an eyelet stitch. And you can't see them from here, but they are all along here, and I think a few other places, but this was a lot of fun and very easy to stitch. And this is done on 32 count natural linen, and I think this might be the same 32 count as my Prairie. Yeah, I think it's the same as the other Prairie Schooler, the boutique I'm working on. This next one is Happy Halloween by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and this was in last year's Just Cross Stitch Halloween special collection magazine. And this is a lot of fun to stitch. And this was done on, this is a Fortnite Fabrics, but I don't remember what the color is. It's basically a really light yellowish wash to it, yellowish orange wash to white. And I don't even think you can really tell on camera. The next two I designed myself. I do have a cross-stitch design company called Veil Stitchery, which is currently on hold at the moment, but I have this Halloween ornament of a spooky house. This was done with DMC and one of the variegations, which I don't remember which one it's called. And this is on gingerbread, 28 count gingerbread by Picture This Plus. And here's the other one, which is supposed to be like a spooky farm with some weird magic stuff going on, which is why the windows have like this purpley look to them. This is on the same fabric as the prior one. Then I have a Witchy Stitcher one, which I don't remember what it's called, but I got it from her website. And these were all supposed to be ornaments, but I liked the idea of stitching them. I basically had this finish idea in mind when I saw these. And so I stitched them all together. And these were really fun to stitch because they have enough color change, but at the same time, they're small. And so that was a lot of fun. These were also done on that 32 count natural linen. And I mounted them on a sticky board and then put a backing of black felt around the outside to give it an edging. And then I have some lace trim on the top. And then I have these lace and ribbon bits at the bottom, which I got this idea from Angela Stitches here on Flosstube. She has a cauldron cross stitch piece that she designed where the bottom part of it was basically lace for the cauldron bottom, and I love that idea. She's an awesome floss tuber. You should check her out also. And then this is mounted on just a piece of, it's a pre-set up piece of wood. I think I got it from Hobby Lobby, and it already had like a hanger there. So I love this finish. This is probably one of my more unique finishes rather than just an ornament or a frame. And then I have Welcome to Our Haunted Home, which I believe is out of the 2019 Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition. And this is stitched on 28 count, what do they call it? It's like, it's a 28 count like natural, but it was, I believe I got this from Michael's, and I think it was like a DMC roll, not sure. The Haunted, don't know if you can tell, but that orange is the orange diamond that I wanted to try, which was, it was okay. It was basically as you expect some kind of metallic or shiny thread to be. Really enjoyed this. It fits so well in an 8x10 frame. I believe I got this frame from Michael's. It's perfect for this. Just two more. This next one I designed myself. Something Wicked This Way Comes. I was really going for like an old black and white film look, which is why the moon is just this really gentle ecru color as opposed to being brighter. And I felt like the stripes, the lighter distressed stripes on this frame went really well with this piece, with the stripy nature of these pieces. And yeah, I loved how the bats kind of get bigger as they get closer. So that was really fun. And I also, part of my idea was like, these could become little ornaments. So you kind of have a multi-use pattern. Yeah, so that one was fun. Oh, this is stitched on 40 count natural linen, 1 strand over 2. And then the last one I also designed. It's called the Mausoleum. And I stitched this before I really got comfortable with over-dyed floss, and I would really have gone back and like done a variegated gray here and a variegated color for the moon. But this was really fun to stitch. It was fun to design and fun to stitch. This is done on 28 count even weave. Yeah, it's a 28 count even weave. It was originally white, and I dyed it this grungy grayish purple. So yeah. All right, and those are all of my prior finishes. So thank you so much for watching. I went over 30 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know which of those Halloween or spooky autumnal whips I should work on, number 1, 2, or 3, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.